Good morning, everyone, or afternoon, or evening, depending on where you are. We've got such a global stream for you today, and you'll see why in a second. But I'm so excited to introduce our third and final preview session for Arduino Days 2026, which is happening this weekend on March 27th and 28th. That's Friday and Saturday, and you can find the links for that, including both of the days of live sessions, in the description to this video. So just scroll down and you'll be able to find all that information, all kinds of stuff, including an article that David wrote about the event and introducing that. Our guest today is Julián Caro Linares, who is a tech evangelist at Arduino, and I'm very excited about this one because we share a love of social robotics and open source robotics and make your stuff and right to repair and all this good stuff. So this will be a blast. So also my co-host David Groom. We have another show called Dayglow that we're actually going live with this Thursday, which I forgot to set up yet, but we're going to be looking at doing a deep dive into this time it's pocket pen testing tools. So I see Julián has got a card computer on your desk. That's going to be one of the things we're looking at, but enough about that.
Good stuff, really good stuff, you know.
So wholesome, like co-promotion with other hardware companies. Anyway, the open source spirit I think is going to be a huge part of what we talked about today. And anyway, okay, Julián, would you like to kick us off by telling us a little bit about what you do at Arduino? Like, what's your life?
Yes, of course. So I'm Julián Caro Linares. I'm a Spanish guy working in Arduino here in Italy. I'm the proud son of two Spanish teachers. They're in Spain. Basically, I'm a maker at heart. This is the reason I'm, working in Arduino, and I moved from Spain to Italy to help in Arduino. And Arduino Tech Evangelist is just a really cool way of saying I'm a maker inside Arduino, trying to explain other people how cool is Arduino. I'm a robotics engineer, so I have that technical background, but at the same time, I love to do tools. I love to do different demos, different projects, and basically have fun with people, That is the idea.
Cool. Could you give us also a quick overview about Arduino Days, since that's the reason that we're all coming here today?
Oh, yeah. Arduino Days are going to be amazing. We have been doing this for, I don't know, 21 years, but, at least 10 years, something like that. The most important thing, of course, about Arduino Days is the 2 days streamings that our colleagues are preparing. They are going to have, we are going to have a lot of exciting stuff. Of course, a lot of things related with Arduino No Q, a lot of things related with the new Ventuno Q, but also a lot of new things related with Modulinos, new boards, new products. So, it's going to be really exciting. But I think the most exciting thing, are going to be the local events. Right now, if we take a look at the map, we have like 300 events, something like that.
304 last. Oh, 323.
323.
I mean,
when I looked at this morning, I thought it was
19 more since the last stream. Dang good.
That is huge. And if you take a look at the map, to me, it's amazing. We have a lot of different people across the world, different makers and professionals, just sharing the love of Arduino and sharing the do-it-yourself love, We have the whole South America and Central America, of course, a lot of different projects, Yeah,
I studied in Santiago for a semester, so right.
Amazing. I need to go. Amazing. Of course, the United States, in Europe, in Spain, my country, of course, we have also a lot of different events. The guys from Mallorca, the guys from Extremadura, if I'm not wrong, too, they are creating some events there. Yes. Portugal. And of course, we have a lot of people from Asia Pacific and Middle East also doing some amazing events. Okay.
You mentioned one. Well, okay. Before we jump into that, I got to shout out the one that's happening in Michigan. We've got David. Are you running this? Yeah,
I am running it. That is me and my picture at the top there, where it says "hosted by."
Yeah,
and we're going to be doing some stuff with Nesso and one which you mentioned earlier, cross promotion. I mean, this is literally a collaboration between M5 and Arduino, so I think it's probably okay to mention M5.
It's more than okay, man. Arduino is part of the maker movement, the open source movement. We are not the owners of the movement. Indeed, Arduino is an ecosystem, so please, just send your love. Whatever board you have, guys, bring it to your local Arduino event and use it. Have fun.
Exactly. Yeah, my shipment of Nessos just arrived, so I was excited.
Oh my god!
To show
You have a lot of Nessos there, Angelius.
Yeah. So if people come to the workshop, they can get one of those free if they're the first 6 people to register and attend.
Fun fact,
Michigan,
that's also...
you told me, okay, I'm going to look for some flights, you know.
That is also my home hackerspace, the first one I ever attended. So these events range from everything from workshops like you're doing to watch parties to previews and demos and stuff. And Julián, you mentioned that there's some stuff going on in Vietnam. What's going on with that?
Yes, indeed. I need to do like 20 hours trip, you know, to Vietnam during this week. And we will be in Hanoi, but in Vietnam, they are going to do 4 Arduino local events in the 4 main cities of Vietnam. Okay.
Wow.
Of course, the capital Hanoi and other cities. They are going to be all of them at the same time at the universities, and we are going to have a lot of fun. Okay. I will be there helping the guys, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be amazing. They told me the food is really good. So, you know, I cannot wait to eat some Vietnamese food, you know. But I think it's going to be exciting. We expect more than 200 people from event, you know, to each event. We are going to talk about different stuff. You know, we are going to talk about, for example, how to create silly projects and why it's important to create silly projects. We are going to do hackathons. We are going to see some of the streaming videos of the Arduino Days together. And we also will bring with us some Ventuno Q's demos. So guys will be able, you know, to touch the new product. So I think it's going to be great.
Very cool. And as we established in a previous stream, people can still add their own events. If you go to days.arduino.cc, as linked in the description, you can find the events page for current events. And then if you just scroll down on there, you will find the form so that you can get listed on the main page. But also you're welcome to just run a local event and announce it however you like. Or check it out. Thank you.
Arduino Days. Yeah, David, please.
If you do sign up, you get a 20% discount for so these boards that I mentioned that I ordered for our event were all 20% off because I signed up as an event host, and so that's one incentive to make it official. But obviously, anyone can Arduino any day that they want.
That's the new slogan for the company. Anyone can Arduino any day that they want. Also, if you go to the store right now, there's some cool discounts and stuff as well, whether or not you run an event, but that's an extra cool perk that you can get if you do organize something in your local community. So you're making this really easy for us, Julián. You keep sort of leading into the next point. And one thing that you mentioned before the stream is that you're excited to talk about the importance of silly projects and of people building silly projects.
Yes.
What do you got?
This is something that, you know, indeed, let me share my screen a moment, because I think I can explain it to you in an easy way, just sharing my screen. Okay, let's see. Okay. This is a tool that I did for, I know. This was one of the first AI things, you know. Now we can do it better, you know. But this is a tool that I created for OSDEM, which is a really famous maker event in Spain, you know, in A Coruña. So hello to all the guys there, amazing people. This was a talk about why, as makers, we need to create silly projects, okay? And I'm going to talk in Hanoi about this stuff because I think it's really important, not only for makers, but also for engineers and creators in general, okay? Sometimes we are like technical people and it's like, no, I need to create something useful. And it's like, yes, you have the power and the knowledge to create something useful, but you are a human, you need to express yourself, you know? And when we have this need of creating silly projects, you know, it's because we need to express ourselves, okay? Therefore, I discovered with a colleague from Arduino some time ago that on Amazon, they were selling these kind of little things, you know, these goats. And these goats are really stupid things, you know, it's just this little thing here, you know, just this little goat here, okay? It's just a toy, and when you press it, it's going to yell, okay? I don't know if you can hear it. I'm going to put it there. Okay.
We can't hear that.
But that is the idea. And well, you know, when we discovered this, I was just telling my colleague, hey, maybe we can hack this. And she was like, what do you mean? And it's like, hey, we are working in Arduino, you know? So, yeah. So I just bought one and I started to hack it. Well, you know, after some time, basically, I discovered how to hack it. I just open it. Okay, I just open it and discover how it works. It's a really silly button here. And there is a solder point that, the typical test point that you can solder, and therefore you can access, to the button and also the gel, the gel action. And from there, we just connect it to an Arduino, to also the flipper CO, as you can see there. And from there, we just connect it and create the whole thing, okay? This is just connected to an Arduino, I don't know, RP2040 or something like that, okay? And we connect it to the Arduino Cloud, which is something really cool. Okay, so basically, we created a network of goats connected through Arduino Cloud that are setting the parable. That means that every time I push this goat, it's connected to the internet through Arduino Cloud, and now in our Arduino Smart Mode office, this goat is just yelling, okay? Because all the goats are yelling at the same time. That was the idea, okay? We had a lot of fun at that moment, okay? And indeed, we created a lot of different versions. My colleagues bought another ones, and we have like a network of 7 goats, 8 goats at this moment, and growing. So in case you want to join us, okay, just take one. It's really easy to hack, and we can have a network. Okay, it's an amazing. And the cool thing is that I can also control this using Arduino Cloud. I have an Arduino Cloud here dashboard. Okay, and here it's just a little a small dashboard. And I have the button. Now you will see here that, okay, it works in Symfony. So, 2026, we have this kind of really cool technology. So we can connect goats across the internet, and having fun. Yeah.
Internet of goats.
Exactly. I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, classic.
Absolutely.
I think if you make your window a little shorter or wider, it will show up a little better. Just FYI, with fitting in the screen. But there we go. Yay. Sometimes it affects the
Sorry, I'm using a really strange version of Linux with some tweaks and yeah.
Oh, I'm really interested. Okay, so there's a bunch of Arduino tools that run in the cloud. So we've got the App Lab, we've got the Arduino Cloud. There's also, of course, the docs page, actually, which is open source as well. But where is it going with this? Oh, yeah. So a lot of these things actually are not as OS dependent as they used to be. And we didn't talk about discussing this, but I'm curious about, with all this stuff going on with Windows and Linux lately, I'm curious if you have any thoughts on using Arduino on Linux. Are there any special things people should know or special perks? I don't know.
No, using Arduino Linux, in my opinion, is the perfect way to use it. Okay, Arduino has been suffering, and this is something that we are always trying to solve, but it's really difficult. The Windows drivers, because Windows drivers are really difficult.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, every time you install the Arduino IDE, of course, we are improving like a lot, but sometimes you can have some problems with the drivers. Okay. In Linux, you don't have that problem. You only need to do a small script, that is already integrated about permissions. Once you have permissions, everything is going to work without any problem. So,
cool.
It's perfect. Yeah, it's perfect. Yeah. But you can also use Mac. If you are an Apple fan, it's more than okay. So, yeah.
I use a Mac and it's very easy to do.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah. One of the cool things about these silly robots is that now we have the Uno Cube, and we actually connected not a goat but a zip to the Uno Cube. Okay, so here you can see the zip version. Okay, of course it has a different, a different sound. But the idea is, and let me see if I can set it with you. Oh yeah, here we are. You can see my screen actually, the actual streaming. But the idea is that in theory, if everything goes well, if I saw a zip, it should yell. Okay, let's see. Let's see. I don't think so. It's going to happen right now. Okay, let's see the autofocus. Of course, this is tricky. One of the things about the demos.
Yeah.
But also not a real zip. Okay.
There we go.
Now it's detecting the zip, but it's not yelling. Okay.
Oh.
Something is going on there, but that's okay. That is the idea, basically. Okay.
Classic live demo stuff, but that's how we know it's real. I have so much respect for people who do live demos that it always makes me happy, even when it doesn't all work out totally. So
yeah, no, absolutely. I have a lot of fun with this thing, during this weekend. Just connected the zip, to the thing. Now it's not working. Whatever thing is happening, But this is one of the cool. Now,
hey,
there we are. Okay, now there we are. But yeah, this is the cool thing, about the Uno Q. Now we can connect this kind of stuff, and we can have a lot of fun because we are just adding this. We have the normal Arduino, but in addition to that, with the Uno Q and the Ventuno Q, you have the Linux part with a lot of AI stuff that you can just click and play with it, and that's amazing. I'm a robotics engineer, and to tell people that they can use YOLO in a really easy way, this neural network about detecting object, which is the one that is detecting the zip, to me, it's amazing.
Is this the bricks that you've been talking about, David?
Yes. Yes. Right,
So
David?
Apparently, I'm the Arduino spokesperson now, but yeah.
Well, you were mentioning it on the last stream. So
we were mentioning on the previous one, and I was just saying that basically you can just the bricks are really cool because they let you just say I want to do X, and the whole thing is like wrapped up in such a way that it's just a very simple API to some extremely complicated functionality. So the other day I was saying like I just want to add a web server, and I don't have to know anything about how it works. I don't have to architect it myself. I just say web server go, database go, and then we've also got the AI bricks that Julian is mentioning here.
Yeah, and indeed, I think that on the chat we have the guys from OpenCV official.
Oh yeah, we got. I'm gonna assume this is Phil Nelson.
Yeah.
What's up, Phil? We've also got Paul Stoffridgen of Teensy. What's up? We also got my friend Ching, who's trying to start some drama in the comments.
Oh yeah. Okay, before moving to that,
I'm blaming David for all of that. By the way, I didn't bring it up. I do love pineapple on pizza, but I'm not the one like making all this stuff happen.
You're welcome to blame me for it because I was instigating it behind the scenes. As I told you that I was trying to see if Julian could actually get a pineapple pizza for the stream, except for I didn't want him to get arrested.
Oh. I tried. I'm here in Turin, which is the headquarters of Arduino. Turin is in the north of Italy. I tried. I scroll up like for 30 minutes, just eat for different pizzerias. It was impossible to find pineapple pizza. And David know, I also asked on Reddit, like the Turin Reddit local stuff, like, guys, sorry about this question, in Italian, of course, but where can I get pineapple pizza? And, there are like 20 comments right now or something like that. They are starting like a fight. So I just discovered, that there is only one pizzeria in the whole Turin that does pineapple pizza. But sadly, it's opening in 1 hour, so I cannot take it. Okay, I will share photos with you guys. I promise today's dinner will be pineapple pizza.
You know what we should do is we should register a domain of like Torino style pizza or something, because how we got like Detroit style, etc., and Napolitana or whatever, and then it would be the worst troll. I'm sure that. We might rip the company apart. Okay.
Yeah, probably it's against Italian law. I totally agree. It's not that bad. Come on. Could be worse. David knows Shenzhen really well. In Shenzhen, in China, they have a really special pizza, which is, how it's called? Durian pizza. Okay, with the fruit. Yeah.
I would eat that. I've eaten like frozen durian and stuff. Brazil, I hear, has some incredible combos. But speaking of like making your own and super custom DIY style things, super smooth transition into talking about open source. Thank you. It's a bad sign when I gotta be the adult on here.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Okay, Julian, you're a huge advocate of open source, and as you mentioned, like building stuff for silly things for the sake of it, and I fully agree there. Like, where just removing the pressure to have to build like the next world-saving thing frees you up so much, and allows you to experiment in these ways that like that's where a lot of breakthroughs are made and stuff. So for me, it's massive. Oh, I got people from all over the place. We got somebody from Germany. Awesome.
Hello, Andreas. Hello.
And so any more thoughts about what you do around open source? I know that you've got your GitHub here with. I've been scrolling through and trying to find the Goats project actually.
Yeah, because I actually need to finish it and edit it, because it has been a non-official Arduino project, for a long time.
You got a bunch of cool stuff on here, though.
Yeah, I just need to share the project. Of course, there you can find some projects with the UnoQ, but the project that I'm obsessed right now, of course, on open source FPGAs, this is one of the things that I love. But the one that I obsessed right now is called Awesome Social Robots.
Yeah.
That's the one I was staring at.
Yeah. This is just something that, I started to get. Actually, your projects are not still there. I double-checked this morning. I need to add it. Sorry about that, because your projects are amazing. But yeah, basically, I worked in some social robots, in the past. And I always got frustrated because every time a company closed, the whole project, the whole thing stopped working, including the robot itself, So at some point I decided, okay, let's try to create a repository about, just gathering all the things that you need to create your own open source social robot. Because I saw a lot of social robots fail, okay? And after they fail, they close the servers because they depend on the internet, which is really sad, And therefore, people, just discover that the little robot is dying, is going to stop to work. And that is something really, really, really sad. So I started to do this awesome social robot repository, and I'm trying to advocate people to create their own social small robots, Nowadays, a lot of people are creating new social robots and robotics companions, and I'm really happy about that. So, step by step, we can create something cool.
There's so many new ones happening. Ginger Zung, I saw whom I know from Hackster, or actually no, from before Hackster. But anyway, has just been running a workshop with, I think, Seed Studio. I could be making that up. But anyway, there's so many people like jumping into this field now. You mentioned this stream that Angela Sheehan and Ajay and I did in 2020 when it was like the virtual maker fair about making friends with companion bots. And it's really just like continued to blow up. There were people, of course, making these before us. There was Straith Brittany Postnikoff, and there was this one by Michael McCool called Ralph, and all these other cool ones. But like, anyway, yeah. So what are you working on? You've worked previously at Jibo Robotics, and you know what? I just realized I talked over you, David, a minute ago. Did you have something else?
Oh, I was just going to explain the concept of that repo. It's kind of like a thing that people do where they make repos called awesome something something. Whatever you're in, whatever like topic or whatever is like, you say awesome something, and then try and get other people to contribute to it. So you get like a big momentum, like a big repo with a lot of momentum on GitHub, where everyone contributes, and instead of it just being like your own personal list of stuff, the idea is that a bunch of people will get in and add their links and share it with other people, and it will become a resource for whatever the awesome topic is. And so I just wanted to explain kind of the nomenclature there. I'm assuming that's what Julian was doing.
Yeah.
Nice. I didn't even know about this until today, so I'm very excited to jump in.
Yeah, indeed. You can find a lot of awesome whatever thing on GitHub. For example, awesome ROS2 robots, for example, okay? Awesome Arduino R4, whatever, you can find this kind of stuff, and it's really, really, really useful. For example, we were talking about computer. For sure, there is an awesome thing, just a repository of resources, 3.0, all of this stuff, and it's really useful because it's a way to show people all the resources that they can access, and and they can participate and create their own things, instead of looking for the internet, and using Gemini or whatever ChatGPT thing, they can just go here and get the good stuff,
Yeah, community curation is always, I feel like, more rich and more of a better way to like sift through all the information out there, and like you're not getting things imagined. Anyway, so you have worked previously at Jibo Robotics, and you're talking in your LinkedIn profile about like the Nowbot and Pepper and other ones that I've seen like come through over the years. What have you learned from working with these things?
Yeah, Jibo, was a love-hate relationship, you know. Yes, that's normal. I work on the Jibo robot for 3 years in 2 different companies. Of course, the original Jibo company with MIT, and after that with Everest entity, you know, just to create new versions of the robot. Now I know that MIT is still using the Jibo robot, and I'm really happy about that. Jibo was one of the first commercial social robots. And the things that we learned about Jibo, there are a lot of things that we learned, but of course we learned a lot of human-machine interaction, which I think is the most fascinating thing about social robots. Okay, when you have a machine and you talk to a machine like a human, that means that you have created some kind of machines that, you know, transmit this kind of empathy, you know,
Yes.
and you try to treat it like a pet or like a human. And I think there is something fascinating there, you know, really fascinating. You are creating robot companions all the time, Alex. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, you know. Sometimes you discover yourself just taking to that machine and it's like, oh my God, you know. I really know that this is just an Arduino, Raspberry Pi, whatever thing, like a washing machine. It doesn't have any kind of intelligent thing. But at the same time, you know, it looks like a pet, and therefore I'm going to treat it like a pet, you know.
And honestly, I do the same thing with like my bike and stuff, but it definitely goes into overdrive when I'm talking to robots. You mentioned that it's now, I didn't realize that this had gone to MIT. That's so cool. Research platform.
Yes, the MIT Media Lab were the actual creators. Cynthia Brazil, sorry about the pronunciation, it's really hard to me. Cynthia Brazil was one of the creators among other founders, you know. So yeah, the Jibo social robot born on the MIT. It was also on the Times magazine on the cover. Was a huge thing. Yeah, Cynthia. There we are. And yeah, it's an amazing social robot. I still love him. Sadly, nowadays, it's really hard to have a Jibo for a commercial use. Let's put it that way. Okay, you cannot have access to the servers, and the MIT, I think, is the only institution able to make it work. Okay, because a lot of reasons. Okay, also intellectual reasons. You know, property, intellectual reasons. And this is one of the things, you know, this is one of the reasons I decided to create open source social robots, you know, because I saw people so sad when Jibo was closing, and I was working there, you know, and you saw the Reddit comments, and it was like, how am I going to explain to my kid that the robot is going to stop? I was like, it's our fault, sorry, you know. We didn't make it work. We didn't have enough money. Sorry, you know. So yeah, that's the thing.
And David, you have some experience with this type of concept, working with the Rebel platform for Pebble.
Definitely. I mean, I would say I have a habit of like picking things that end up going, you know, kind of dying pretty quickly. Like all the things that I'm excited about are all like weird things that end up failing.
We're gonna have a Dayglow episode about this, actually.
That's what I was gonna say. Is I think we're gonna do obsolete, or the abandoned, orphaned product Dayglow show. But yeah, like so Pebble, obviously. Chumby is another one that I just love and has been kept alive by some cool people. Jibo is another one, the Sony robot dog. Like I have all these things like that. Yeah,
amazing.
Light blue bean.
Yes.
This one is super screwed up. Like that just means that it's loved.
Yeah, we love obsolete.
But yeah, this concept of like keeping things alive even when the hardware platform has not necessarily got the resources to sort of survive on its own. Like you're talking about, Julián, where it's like you can give the hardware new life. And I'm seeing this with you know, people making new OSs for mini computers, but also for VR rigs, which is really interesting to me. But also when that thing does rely on a server, being able to replace that infrastructure, like you're saying, with Jibo is a huge challenge that strikes all of us. With the light blue bean, it's basically a little microcontroller that's programmable over Bluetooth. You can program it with Arduino code on your phone, which like blew my mind and is so useful. And sadly, this one was discontinued, but they open sourced it. And I think I'm gonna hopefully help bring it back and make a little series of tiny robots based on it, because for a wearable and like a little portable device, being able to reprogram it from your mobile device is just incredible. But
that is amazing, you know. And you mentioned something that I think is really important, you know, talking about open source technology and the open source and do-it-yourself maker community. which is we are creating products. Of course, companies like Arduino need to make money, to pay people like me, so we can pay the rent and all of that stuff. That's okay. But at the same time, we are an open source company. We are releasing all the products, including the UnoQ, as open source products. And the cool thing about that is that if tomorrow is not going to happen, I can assure you that, but if tomorrow Arduino disappears as a company, it's okay. I need to find a new job. That's okay. But, you have everything. You have your boards and are still going to work. You have the GitHub repositories, the Arduino IDE, which is open source. You can just take the project, the community, if they want to, they can take that project and moving forward. No legal problems, no legal issues. You also have the Arduino docs documentation under Creative Commons Share-alike license. You have everything. And that means that every time you buy an Arduino or whatever, documentation, whatever product from any third party or whatever product, you are buying something that you are the owner of that technology, okay? We in Arduino, we want to make sure that people are the real owners of their technology. And I think nowadays that is really, really, really important, right? Yes, now you are just showing the GitHub or the Arduino docs content. The page that you saw before, that's the render that you access. And there you have all the official documentation about Arduino docs. Guys, we have more than 10 people, a team of 10 people, amazing people, creating content, creating tutorials, creating data sheets all the time for Arduino, for the final users. And we have, more than
definitely more than 10
contributors,
so
and
cool.
This is the actual GitHub repository. Everything is under Creative Commons Share-alike, so you can use it even for commercial purpose, of course, respecting the license. And the cool thing is that if you find any problem, if you find something that is not working, you can just open a pull request, and we will try to fix it, on an issue or whatever. You can also take a look at the things that we are working on, everything is open from that point of view, and it's an amazing thing, So you are
cool.
even the owner of the documentation that we are creating. If tomorrow we are not here, that's okay. You have the whole tutorial. Everything is written under Markdown. Therefore, Markdown is just easy to render to another server thing. And that's a really cool thing. And we are trying to do the same thing actually with AI. I mean, this is a record. 31 minutes without mentioning AI in 2026. I think it's a real record. But yeah, we are trying to do the same with the UnoQ. Everything is local. You have your own AI thing running on your board, not connected to the internet. So that's great.
And you mentioned the UnoQ, which people can find on the main Arduino page, and I'm actually failing at pulling that up right now, but there's also the Arduino Cloud. Got some love for the Arduino documentation. And Paul from Teensy, whatever happened to the $9 chip SBC back on the... Yeah, so...
RAM. The answer is RAM,
Yeah.
Well, I think it's a bit before that they disappeared, but the pocket chip I would put under the same category of like beloved old devices that and that's another one where people have kept that one alive and brought out new firmware for it.
Absolutely. I've still got one.
Definitely.
Gotta reset it because I forgot the password. But like another really good one. Yeah, I remember that with that one in particular, like a number of years ago, I think that like the hardware company who was producing them ended up having to sell off a bunch of them. This is not official, and it's just based on stuff that I heard from being in the Bay Area, like knowing some people vaguely adjacent to this. But the rumor was that the hardware company ended up like having to offload the hardware because or the fabric. Anyway. Who knows? So without getting into more gossip, which is my fault, let's see. So what are you excited for this weekend at Arduino Days?
I think I'm really excited about meeting new people, We makers, we are really special people for good, sometimes for bad, okay, because we have our personality, But I think people do not realize that when they go to a makerspace, Fab Lab, and they go to these kind of events, at the beginning they think, oh, it's a cool place where I have really cool machines where I can create my own stuff, They go for that, but they stay because of people, because they discover there is similar people to them that are going to create their own things, and they are sharing interests, right? That is really cool. At the end of the day, these kind of Arduino Days events, Maker Faire events, are about people and about connections, So I discovered for a lot of years ago that, I can bring some projects, I can talk about different stuff that I really love, but the really cool thing is the new people that you met, the new connections. And I think that is amazing, I really enjoyed every time I go to a Maker Faire. David knows, for example, Maker Faire Shenzhen was an amazing thing. Yeah, was an amazing connection, amazing new people, a lot of different companies, but also makers were like, oh, the Arduino guys from Italy finally here, and it was really exciting, to meet people. And at the end of the day, everything is about people, So please make sure to have fun, and to meet your people in your local event. I think it's going to be awesome.
Maybe the real Arduino days were the friends we made along the way.
Good one. That is a good one. But he's right. He's actually right. So yeah.
I mean, I have a friend group. We have a friend group where it's like we started out talking about companion bots years and years ago, but now it's basically just sort of like some people who hang out and talk about whatever. It's like mental health, all kinds of different stuff that we're working on, creative roadblocks, and whatever.
Video games and anything.
Video games, but like especially on the mental health front, people talking about the loneliness epidemic and stuff, and just being able to connect with other nerds on your wavelength, whether that's virtually or in person or whatever you can do, just like being able to connect with people. It starts with robots or like with open source technology, and then it just like turns into friendships and connection on so many different levels. It's so important.
Yeah. And David, please.
Go ahead, Julian.
Yeah, no, Alex mentioned something really important, the pandemic. Okay, I think the pandemic changed the maker world for a lot of reasons, okay? And one of the reasons is that newer generations, and I'm millennial, 37 years old. Oh my God, I'm getting old, But millennials, we know that we can meet another people at Maker Fairs, at Fab Labs, and a lot of new events. But there is a new generation, a Gen Z, whatever you want to call it, generation, that they love to tinker, they love to create things, but they are just consuming on Instagram, TikTok, whatever, maker do-it-yourself stuff. They do not realize that they can actually meet another people and create this kind of Arduino Days event. So guys, please go to your Fab Lab, nearest Fab Lab, and start talking to people and just tell them, hey, I would love to create something, don't know, whatever, this Saturday. I would love to talk about this stuff. Please do it. It is possible, okay? And I think Gen Z didn't realize yet, that they can create that kind of stuff. And I'm missing these guys. So if you are Gen Z and a maker, please contact us. We will try to help you. We will try to create new projects, new events, and we will try to put you in contact with the nearest Fab Lab so you guys can start to rock, okay?
Yeah, and on that note, there's always sort of, I find that youth are always like, people are always moving forwards in the different communities that they create. So right now there's like a huge flourishing community on Discord, or like set of communities,
Yes.
I feel like Discord has become like a place for people to meet each other and talk about games or whatever subject, of course there's like, every platform has its own issues, but like we still got people coming in who have like just gotten their first Arduino, and like there's always new people bringing new life into the community. So obviously I would recommend checking out Julian's and this shared repository of awesome social robots, although that is, maybe a bit of an intense place to get started. If you just start like by learning to blink an LED, for a lot of people, that's the first sort of like light bulb moment. And of course there's always people coming in from like, it depends on if you're coming in as a software developer trying to learn about hardware, or like a student who's like never touched hardware before or like learned much about software. I actually studied Spanish. That was my major. I studied languages, so Spanish, Russian, and Chinese, but like that was like, I didn't major in anything technological, but through the hackerspace community, I learned about Arduino. Oh, you're pulling something up on the screen. Let me have a look at what this is.
Yeah, Sergio was mentioning how to start, and you were talking about that. Of course, you have a lot of different tutorials across the internet, and on Docs, you have some tutorials, for example, to start with the Uno R4. But the cool thing about the Arduino community is that you will find thousands of tutorials, YouTube videos, whatever you need on the internet. The most important thing, Sergio, is to not have fear to fail. You are going to fail. You are going to ban some things. That's okay. Okay, just be safe. So it'll be okay. But just take something that you will love to create because you think is cool, or something that you really need to because you think is useful, and start from that. Okay, you need some motivation, some real project. Okay, so do not hesitate to just skip the boring starting tutorials when you need to, and just jump to create things. Just
Absolutely.
go for it.
I was just gonna say, with the thing I like about the silly projects concept is that I think one of the biggest things is just getting experience. And so in order to get experience, you need some kind of motivation to do stuff. For me, like I knew I wanted to get into this stuff. I needed like a area to like focus on. And so I'm into music and electronic music and things like that. So when I first started getting into this stuff, I found a lot of projects that were like make your own synth and make your own sampler and stuff like that. And that's kind of like the area that I focused on of like, just like wanting to do Arduino for the point of Arduino was not like interesting to me, but like being able to do these things, create these ideas myself was like the motivator. And then like learning the Arduino libraries and techniques and things like that required for that along the way was just like part of this goal of like achieving this kind of thing that I wanted to make, which is what I like about the silly projects, because then you don't even have to come up with the idea of the electronics or the music or whatever. You just do something weird.
And someone else mentioned, I'm sorry, I can't see who this is, but they mentioned the Arduino Project Hub, which is also a great place to start. We've got you can sort by, you mentioned starting with like an Arduino Uno R4, you can scroll down and sort by those. Like you can choose which Arduino you have and see what exactly people have built with that particular Arduino, as well as like, so like if you've got like an R4 Wi-Fi Uno, there's all this stuff people have made with that. And then there's also this new starter kit with the plug and play modules with Modulino, for example. David's been playing around with some of those, so I've been excited to see what's going on with those. Particularly this Arduino Genuino account is actually an official Arduino account that publishes a lot of cool stuff. I think they are anyway. So all kinds of stuff with that. I'm trying to remember what my first Arduino project was, and I think that I don't know what the first one was, but I did run a bunch of workshops at various hackerspaces for building your own bike lights, like smart bike lights, LED strips that was like, do these like different types of animations and stuff. So it's Adam Benzian. Hey Adam. So Adam is one of the co-founders of Hackster, which is actually what the Project Hub runs on, which is why I know so much about how that works. Anyway, cool to see you.
Guys, Project Hub is amazing. It's a place where you can solve your projects with other people from the community. Okay, of course, the projects are yours. You are just linking, your GitHub project or whatever. You can release it at the Creative Commons. That is more than okay. And actually, during the Arduino Days, guys, all the things, stupid things, useful things that you are creating, you can create a small Hub project and put it there. Okay, that would be amazing. Okay, you can have a lot of fun creating something together, and share it with others, which is at the end of the day the most exciting thing,
Yeah, and I mentioned that Adam was the co-founder of Hackster, but now I think you like run the community at Arduino, something like that.
Yes,
very cool.
Actually, yes. Adam is our community responsible right now. Okay. And he's going to help us, to make some noise, okay? We in Arduino, we love open source. We have been working in an open source environment for 20 years. Of course, there are a lot of challenges with real life, but we are trying to make everything open source, and we are trying to be as near as possible with the community. And with the help of Adam, probably next year, we are going to have a lot of fun, okay? We will go to a lot of amazing places. So guys, if you are preparing something, you want to create a hackathon, you are preparing a maker event, whatever it's called, please write us, okay? And we'll try to help, and we will try to participate too. So yeah.
Yeah, and Adam's the reason that we're here today, doing these preview streams. So it's but yeah, do get in touch with the Arduino. What's the best way for people to get in touch with the Arduino team if you want to run like a local workshop or something?
Oh, yeah, that's actually a really good question. I think the easiest way is just the contact us, servicing. I think is the perfect way. Okay. Therefore, we have a ticket from there, and the guys from the support team, they are going to just present that to us, and we can put it in contact. Okay. But of course, you can also look for me on the internet. You can send me a DM. Okay, and we will talk about that. Don't worry about that. Okay. But yeah, I think it's the easiest way. That way we have a ticket, guys. Once we have a ticket, of course, we are going to put attention to that. Okay, so that's great.
Yes, and that you mentioned contacting you through DMs wherever, and that is this same username, Julián Caro Linares,
Yes.
that you would find on various platforms, including GitHub.
Yes.
And if you go to
you will find me on Twitter. Of course, I refuse to call it X. You will find me on Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, whatever, and also Discord. And yes, we can talk about, maker stuff. So yeah.
Maker stuff. Oh yeah. It's the best stuff. Okay, let's see. We've got a bunch of. Oh yes, This also. So I have this pulled up actually. The right now there is a contest going on. You can win a free Uno Q if you submit a project idea. Go here. This is just hackster.io/Arduino. And I'm not sure if this is also on the Arduino Project Hub site, but it's definitely on Hackster. And if you just go here, I'm gonna hide this so we can see a little bit more of it. But just go to the Apply for Hardware tab. You have until April 5th. So plenty of time to get inspired at Arduino Days this weekend, this Friday and Saturday. And then when you get all those neurons firing and you're like, oh man, I gotta make this thing. You can go and submit your idea and ideally win an Uno Q to build your dream.
Yeah,
very cool.
Amazing. The Uno Q is amazing, guys. You are going to find that it's really easy just to run some AI stuff locally, and now you have a new superpower. You are connecting a Linux team with an Arduino and mixing all together, and you can make amazing stuff. Mark was here before. We are trying to get some plant irrigation system with also AI, so we are able to know if our actual plant, is dying or not when we are away from home. This kind of stuff. So it's just adding another level of amazing cool technology to your actual do-yourself maker stuff. So
you had some kind of a dashboard that you were showing, like an online dashboard as well, weren't you?
Yes, I have this dashboard here. This one is related with that traffic light that you can see, in the background. I have a really David Partilla is one of the founders of Arduino. I myself, we have an internal joke between the Spanish and Latin community joke about traffic lights and Arduino. Basically, we hate traffic lights. Okay. Why? Okay, because I discovered during my first job, and also David Partilla, that a lot of teachers love to create a traffic light as the first Arduino project.
Oh yeah.
And that is great. Nothing against that, but a lot of teachers, they just end about the things that you can do with Arduino with the traffic light, and that is all. And you can create a lot of amazing stuff with Arduino, so it's really sad to just create again and again and again a traffic light. So we created some time ago a movement called No Más Semáforos in Spanish. Okay? Yeah, no more traffic lights. Okay. And people started to put different projects, about the things that you can create with Arduino instead of the traffic light. Okay. Of course, at the end of the day, that became like a really big joke, and people on the internet are still mentioning me, like, oh, this guy created a traffic light, and it's like a Japanese person that I don't know, and it's like, yeah, man, what can I do? Okay. So yeah, some of my friends, maker friends, gave me that traffic light. That is a real traffic light, and a small one.
Nice.
From Spain. I'm not going to say, where I got it. Okay, not legal for sure, but that's okay. But yeah, it's actually a real traffic light that is controlled with an Arduino Opta. And that is really cool. This is the actual Arduino Pro official PLC that we created in collaboration with Finder. And this industrial grade PLC can be programmed on Arduino. And actually, you can see it on my dashboard that is connected to the actual, to this Arduino cloud. And therefore, I can control it over the internet, which I think is really cool. So I'm just going to turn on the red light, and you will see it on my webcam, there, I'm just connected. I'm going to turn on also the yellow, the green, whatever,
Wow.
And it can also be connected, to, thanks to the Arduino Cloud, to Alexa or Google, basically. So let's try it. And of course, I'm going to talk in Spanish because, my Google Home thing is in Spanish, but I'm going to try it. Okay, Google, enciende verde. There we go. That's cool. Okay. So yeah, that is really cool. Of course, I'm using it, for streaming and the whole thing. Like, please don't enter at my room and the whole thing. But I have an actual traffic light at home, which I think is really cool. Yeah, indeed. Opta is for industrial, and we have a lot of companies, professional companies using Optas, for manufacturing. So it's an amazing product, And a 10 years old guy is able to program Opta because it's Arduino. It's a digital right height, It is what it is, nothing else,
You can even use MicroPython, right?
Yes, you can also use MicroPython, indeed. Yes, you can use MicroPython. Of course, you can use the industrial language like Ladder, and of course, you can use Arduino and connect it to the cloud. You have a Wi-Fi version. You have a version without Wi-Fi, but of course, with Modbus. You have 3 versions basically, and it's a small guy but a really powerful guy. This guy is amazing. I love it. You can solve a lot of stuff with this.
And there's all these extra things that you can get linked from that page as well. We got so many. Everyone's getting real excited about the no more traffic lights. Actually, on that subject, so at Hackster, I ran a few hackathons, and we did this whole series in 2015. And out of that, we had a lot of the same thing going on where people would build sort of the same project over and over again. And actually, this I find is a great way for the people who are asking about what should I build first. A lot of people choose as a hackathon project like something that seems kind of obvious after you've seen it built a lot of times, and that can actually be a great place to start because there are like a million examples of different traffic lights and stuff. And similarly, like back I don't need to hear from myself. This is like 10 years ago I wrote this article, but baby monitor, a pet feeder, a smart wearable help alert system, all these different things that you gotta have soldering Shira. Anyway, I don't have traffic lights on here, but that's sort of like people would use those as a home notification hub type thing, or so these things that are very commonly made are also just like a great way to get started because there are so many examples of them already up online. And here are some also like weird fun things that people may like how to know like queue for the toilet and stuff. Anyway, fantastic stuff. For that hackathon, Adam Benzian bought a DeLorean on eBay for wood. I just gotta mention that.
Yeah, he told me a DeLorean. Oh my god, amazing.
Yeah. I drove that thing for about 500 feet. It was not a happy machine. But enough about my best. Okay, Julian. Let's see. We gotta come up with some more stuff to grill you on. Oh, we're almost at an hour, actually. We scheduled this for half an hour, and we've already gone through social robots, Arduino Days, of course, the importance of silly projects. We've talked about community and mental health, and the importance of just finding your local electronics communities and how to do that with the Fab Labs and with your Arduino Days events. We've talked about Arduino on Linux. We've talked about did I already mention the importance of building silly things? Anyway.
But it's important, just mention again.
Thanks to you.
It's important.
Yeah, that's one of the things that you first mentioned that I was very excited to talk about. So everyone, silly hackathon projects are great too, but if you're starting with Arduino, absolutely follow your heart and it'll motivate you to follow through and learn a bunch of stuff that you wouldn't otherwise learn because you're driven by this urge. So since we're sort of coming to the end here, do you folks have anything you'd like to throw in before we wrap up? And then I'll take us through our tabs and look at all the links.
There was a bunch of comments that I'd love to just touch on real quick. A lot of them are in Spanish. I'm not very good at Spanish. Alex is better than me at Spanish, and I'm guessing Julian is even better than Alex at Spanish.
Sure.
Definitely. Mine is pretty rusty.
Nah, come on. I'm pretty sure it's really good. Don't worry. So yeah.
I saw Giovanni Bruno in the comments, so I wanted to say ciao to Giovanni. And were there any other comments that we didn't really tackle? Maybe we got them all.
Giovanni.
Yeah. I just wanted to say it's fun to get lots of comments from all over the world was the main thing that I was
absolutely.
A big hi to Gustavo. Hello, Gustavo. Gustavo is a Mexican teacher, amazing maker from Mexico. It's an amazing guy. Please follow Gustavo because he's really good, and he's participating in all the Arduino Days, always putting tutorials and creating stuff. So yeah.
Absolutely. Gustavo is a massively productive and prolific maker and publisher of open source tutorials, contributes so much to the community. And here's Giovanni. Hey! Giovanni was our first of these 3 pre-interview things. Folks, there were like other spoilers on for like what to watch out for in Arduino Days. What's up, David?
I just say, can we end with give us a spoiler?
What are you? Anything you? So we've heard that there will be maybe to watch out for some hardware and/or software announcements, as well as you mentioned new stuff around Modulino, maybe.
Yes, I mean, of course, I cannot spoil like a lot, but these little models that we have. Actually, let me take a look at these ones here. Okay, these little models, in case you don't know, guys, we are creating this kind of stuff, just to organize my thing. We'll public. Yeah, that's cool. We will public on printables, so you guys can use it too. Okay, this has been my personal one for traveling like a lot, with the different Modulinos and the Uno Cube. And we are creating new Modulinos all the time. Okay, we are trying to release as much Modulinos as possible, guys. And of course, you will see, during the Arduino Days and the following months, new bundles, new big time bundles with Modulinos, so you can create your own projects around the Modulinos, and new Modulinos. And I think, of course, the Uno Cube is exciting, also the new starter kit, but the Modulinos are the bricks of our ecosystem, and they are really cool and really easy to use, so please take a look.
Oh, yeah, and there's this, is that, so it looks like a custom 3D printed one. That's so cool. You can get a bunch of Modulinos in this, and then also through the, oops, let me not close this tab. Trying to do this. There we go. If you go through here, the Arduino Days official website and click on Go to Store, you may be able to get a free Arduino Modulino of your choice if you buy the new Arduino Uno Cube through April 8th, 2026. So you actually got a while to jump on that, but definitely go to the days.arduino.cc to check out what's coming up this weekend, Friday and Saturday. You can find both of the live streamed days just by scrolling down. You can also find a bunch of these links in the description to this video for your convenience. There's also this one that's David is running in Ann Arbor. Shout out to All Hands Active. You can check out information on the new Ventuno Q. We've also got I think this was from the Project Hub. Anyway, I need to not confuse myself. There's the open source documentation page, which you can submit corrections or changes or updates or whatever to through GitHub, as well as finding out all kinds of cool stuff to do. There's also the Project Hub, where you can find a bunch of projects. There's the awesome Social Robots repo, which is managed by Julián, and you started this, which I'm definitely going to be digging through in the future, plus a bunch of other cool repos and projects that you work on. And this is also the same username that you can find Julián on other platforms with, and just reach out if you want to talk about anything Arduino, open source, etc. There's the Arduino Cloud, Jibo Robotics. Now on MIT, surprisingly, you mentioned the FOSDEM conference, which is over for this year, but that's one of many nerd events.
Amazing, yeah. Yes.
Tons of cool stuff happening this year. Actually, we've also got EMF Camp happening this year, and a few other ones that I forget. We mentioned Rebel briefly, and open source alternative OS for Pebble. But now well, David has a bunch more to say about that, which you can talk about another time, and will again, I'm sure. David and I have our Dayglow show, which is coming up on Thursday. We're going to be talking about pocket pen testing devices, but basically these are super long, like multi-hour streams where we actually dig into some of this hardware that we have done, like unboxings and getting started on. And the last one was about Arduino Alvik. We got some of the Arduino team popping up in the comments at like 1 a.m. their time, including Giovanni, to like help us through some of those things. We've also got the Fab Labs page that Julián was mentioning, this whole community of Fab Labs around the world, another place to get connected with your local communities, as well as, of course, these Arduino Days events. And then this contest, which is currently running on Hackster.io. If you go to hackster.io/Arduino, you will find this contest, which you can win an Arduino Uno Q up through April 5th to submit your ideas for hardware, how to use that. We talked about the Opta PLC and related things. Oh yeah, we got Gustavo in the comments who said Oshwi says hello to all.
Yeah, always amazing. Always the mascot of the Osden event there in A Coruña, okay, in the north of Spain. It's octopus, it's an octopus, and it's the mascot. And Gustavo some years ago created just the bats, which is really, really, really cool one. So yeah, that's an amazing project. Yeah.
And I'm not sure if you have, I feel like you must have a separate project for that. Oh,
that is also weird. Yes.
So much cool stuff. Look at this. I have this problem where I can't look at these websites or else I will get stuck in them and get all distracted and stuff. So I'm going to close these down now. Thank you so much for joining us, Julián, and everyone who jumped in on the comments, everyone who's joined us live here today. You are the community. Okay. Julián, what a pleasure. Definitely hope we get to meet up at one of these events someday. It'd be rad. And David, absolutely. Always a pleasure hosting with you. And everyone, have an awesome day and hack on.
Yeah. Have fun. Bye-bye.
Happy Arduino Days.
Happy Arduino Days. This Friday and Saturday. Go check it out.